The Nuts and Bolts of Writing, Season 2, a podcast where we talk about literature, the ins and outs of writing, and how to actually start writing. Hi, everyone. Today it's just me, Fortunus Games, the host of this podcast. Today we'll be reviewing one of my favorite books, Orhan Pamuk's My Name is Red. Set in 16th century Ottoman Empire, this book is a murder mystery at its core. The first chapter is from the perspective of a court artist who was murdered, and you have to read through the book to discover who murdered him. There's a dizzying kaleidoscope of perspectives, including the perspective of a dog and who you could call the protagonists of this work: Black, an administrator who has just returned to Istanbul after 12 years abroad, and Shekure, a widow who wants to find a new husband and father for her two sons after her soldier husband went missing 4 years ago. The first chapter makes it apparent that the murder was about politics and religion. As it turns out, the court artist was murdered because he was commissioned by the Sultan to adopt a realistic European, or Frankish as the Turks would say during this time, art style so the Sultan could have a realistic portrait of himself. The new Frankish style enraged many traditional artists who specialized in Ottoman miniaturist painting. This style, like what you'd see in old European manuscripts before the Renaissance, was highly stylized and faces were generic, not recognizable. Many miniaturists believed this was for the better. Only Allah could create individuals, while man can only represent Allah's creation. Meanwhile, they saw the Frankish style as glorifying the individual artist and commissioner over Allah, and found it offensive. Besides discussing religion and politics, this novel goes into riveting details about Islamic traditions of art, mythology, and history. Everything is gorgeously described. Every time I read this book, it's like diving into a miniaturist painting. Pamuk is a master of ekphrastic writing, that is, writing that describes art pieces. This probably comes from the fact that he used to be a painter and studied architecture before becoming a writer. In his previous works, such as Istanbul, Memories of a City, we see him describing artworks and weaving history and psychology into his descriptions of artworks. Here's a quote from My Name is Red that illustrates the power and vivacity of his ekphrastic writing. I hear the question upon your lips. What is it to be a color? Color is the touch of the eye, music to the deaf, a word out of the darkness. Because I've listened to souls whispering, like the susurrus of the wind, from book to book and object to object for tens or thousands of years, allow me to say that my touch resembles the touch of angels. Part of me, the serious half, calls out to your vision, while the mirthful half sours through the air with your glances. I'm so fortunate to be read. I'm fiery. I'm strong. I know men take notice of me and that I cannot be resisted. I do not conceal myself. For me, delicacy manifests itself neither in weakness nor in subtlety, but through determination and will. So, I draw attention to myself. I'm not afraid of other colors, shadows, crowds, or even loneliness. How wonderful it is to cover a surface that awaits me with my own victorious being. Wherever I'm spread, I see eyes shine, passions increase, eyebrows raise, and heartbeats quicken. Behold how wonderful it is to live. Behold how wonderful to see. I am everywhere. Life begins and returns to me. Have faith in what I tell you. However, there are some flaws in My Name is Red. Black and Shekure are not fleshed out protagonists, and I was frankly more interested in the different perspectives of the minor characters rather than what they thought. The perspectives can also get tiring and frustrating, especially if you're tired and just want a story that's easier to understand. Overall, I give My Name is Red 4 out of 5 stars.